3D printing technology company Alquist 3D has printed Walmart Supercenter's new expansion in Tennessee. This is one of the largest printed commercial projects covering 8,000 square feet. It's going to be used for online pickup and delivery, and both companies are working on a second project in the near future. 3D printing technology company Alquist 3D has printed Walmart Supercenter's new expansion in Tennessee. This is one of the largest printed commercial projects covering 8,000 square feet. It's going to be used for online pickup and delivery, and both companies are working on a second project in the near future. Joining us right now to talk more about it is Zachary Mannheimer. He is Alquist 3D's founder and chairman. And Zachary, thank you for being here. I will say a lot of people's image of 3D is printing stuff maybe their kids are printing, little things that you print out, you can hold, they look kind of cool. What you're doing is much more important, much more substantive. And why don't you describe to people exactly how you can build a supercenter through a 3D printer?
Well, thank you, and good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, this is slightly more substantial in size than something my kids are printing. They're printing all the time. That's an interesting side of this, is that the workforce development piece, so many people are coming into this with this knowledge. But this partnership started among several different groups, FMGI, an amazing general contractor we worked with, and of course Walmart, to print the largest commercial structure there is in America. This was not an easy task. Lots of things that were learned along the way. But what we have now is a major commercial structure. Another major achievement of this is to be able to go up 20 feet. That hasn't happened before with something this size. So we learned a ton on this project, and we're excited to do the next one.
What did you learn? What are the difficulties of trying to build a structure that big, that tall?
Well, pumping the material that high with the speed that we need to go to really make this save time and move as quickly as we needed to. That's one of the biggest ones. Temperature control is huge. It was 110 degrees on the surface during the day there. And so our team became nocturnal. We printed this thing at night. That's why you're seeing these darker images there. Our teams worked from 9 p.m. to about 6 a.m. every day to do this print.
Was this project, I mean, obviously you're looking for ways and things to do this better, cheaper, more efficiently. Was this project cheaper than it would have been if they built it outright?
When we're operating at our most efficient, the answer is yes, but that wasn't consistent the entire time. The first couple weeks, we had a lot of trouble spots like temperature and pumpability, like I mentioned. Once we got it dialed in, we believe it will be, yes. It's still some more time we have to do to get there, but I can tell you one day, when we were able to do about 325 square feet in just a few hours with a team of 3 people, that's a major achievement for this, and we're trying to beat the cost of CMU block. So we're still getting there. It's building in the industry. I wouldn't say it's dramatically less expensive right now. The next one that we do here in a couple months, that's really going to be able to tell how we can make it like that.
And how does this work, the partnership that you're doing with Walmart? If there are cost overruns, if things don't work right, do they suck up the cost and eat it? Do you eat some of the cost? Do you share it?
It's shared for sure across the board, but most of it comes to us. I mean, the difficulty in the beginning that we had was really just trying to figure out how to print this during what time of day. So once we got it going, the last couple of weeks of this work, things were moving very quickly. We were going 200 millimeters a second. That's the fastest we've ever printed. And so this was a wonderful learning achievement for us and for the industry. And that's really what we're seeing take shape here. You know, we've only been 3D concrete printing in America for about 6 to 7 years. It's still very new. There's only a handful of companies doing this work. We, of course, all know each other. It's kind of like Silicon Valley in 1972, except spread out more globally. So the industry is building. You're going to begin seeing more structures like this. But it was such an honor for us to work with great companies like Walmart and FMGI and Sika's product as well. And then, of course, Rick Robotics.
Provisioning of power, particularly for data centers.
That's right, David. And this morning, Constellation Energy said that it will reopen the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant, selling all of the power to Microsoft as a part of a 20-year agreement to power the tech giant's data centers. And yes, you did hear that right. We are talking about 3 Mile Island, the site of the worst nuclear accident in U.S. history in 1979, which sparked a backlash against nuclear power. But this site has 2 reactors, one that was shut down after the accident and one that was active until 2019, and that is the one that they're reopening. It comes as the nuclear industry is getting another look because of power demand from AI, which is surging. Now, Constellation said it will spend $1.6 billion to revive Unit 1 and is aiming to have the unit back online by 2028, although it is subject to approval by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The company owns roughly 20% of the U.S.'s nuclear capacity, and shares are up 102% this year as electrification, reshoring, and data centers all increase power demand. Now, uranium stocks are also on the move today. The URA and URNM are both up more than 2% each, and Cameco.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. And yes, guys, you heard that correct. 3D printing commercial real estate. And who's building it? That's right, Walmart, for online delivery and pickup. And we know drones will definitely be added in that. But just imagine the jobs that are lost in this 3D printing. I brought you plenty of videos of these 3D printers printing houses. So just imagine, if they can do a big commercial real estate building, they can do a whole street of houses. Less time and less manpower. You're dealing with corporations. They don't care about humanity. They only care about the cost. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we have nuclear power site to open back up by 2028. And that's because Microsoft wants to power these data centers. But we know there's a bigger plan behind it. And it's not good for the sheep. Remember I told you, 2028, 2029 is Schmeat's a year. And that's when the sheep enter inside the metaverse. Now it's like we're back to 2020. We have ports may shut down due to strikes. And guys, we know these supply chains are being disrupted because all this technology has to be added. Now we're in blockchain. We know all about crypto and these supply chains and on how it can make things a whole lot easier. Plus the rise of the machines. They don't need all these workers. And Gutierrez clearly stated they're not adding in all this technology. And of course, the employees, they're sheep, they're asleep. They're not even looking at all this technology. Some may be, but majority of them not. And you're asking for that type of raise when the corporations know we'll give you that raise, but there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be out of work. And this is going to be in all sectors of the economy. And when you're looking at unions, unions used to could guarantee your job. Now that's out of the question inside of a contract. So they can lay off as many people as they like. But like I told you, 2025, 2026, layoffs are going to pick up. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And again, guys, I told you yield rates would definitely move back up. And it looks crazy because you see that you get a better percentage within 6 months than 10 or 30 years. You can't make this stuff up. But in a manipulated market, guys, nothing is real. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Jerome Powell giving us that cut to make sure the stock market can at least maintain until they get this president into office. And once they get this president into office, guys, the movie begins. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
The potential for a strike here, this is hugely concerning, not only what it means for inflation, what it means for the ability to get goods in, what it means for a lot of things in our country. Why don't you lay out the situation? If this happens, if these ports go on strike, it's about half of the incoming ocean-going cargo that we bring into this country that would be shut down.
Yeah, that's right. Hi, Becky. It's about 50% of the imports that come through the East Coast. You know, this is on one hand, it's shortages. Every day that there's a strike, you have a compounding effect, and it's not one day of a shortage. It kind of adds up to a week. So it's big in terms of the impact. And it's not only the shortages, but it's the cost. The cost of the freight increases because you have ships sitting at the dock. They're not being unloaded, and that just increases the cost of the goods coming in. So it's bad. I don't think this is something that will make the Fed raise rates again, but it's going to have an impact, and it will impact families. It'll impact, again, just remind people of the period of shortages and the period of inflation. It will have an impact. There's no question. I think that the thing here is to look at the union and the companies. And I've never been a union buster. I haven't dedicated my career to that. But there's a sense here, at least I feel like the longshoremen are overplaying their hand. 77% increase, which, by the way, is what they received in 2018. So they're going for the same amount. But the big issue long term is this notion that no new technology, if it takes out one job, it's hard to stand against progress, to stand against science, to stand against innovation. That's not a winning proposition. So the union here can have a kind of a tactical victory, but long term, it's a strategic defeat. And this is why companies are constantly looking for areas where they can build plants without unions. So, and also it's hit them when they're down. Inflation's coming down. Nobody wants it to go back up. Now is the time to hit them. So I find that they're totally overplaying their hand. I don't see the option. If this is where they remain, no new technology, 77%, I don't see what you can do other than take a strike.
Well, I'm a little cautious for a number of reasons. I actually expect longer term interest rates to go up, even though the Fed is reducing the Fed funds rate, because we're going to eventually get a more normalized yield curve. I think that's a good thing, and I believe that that's the kind of yield curve that would favor more of what I would call the safe stocks or the value stocks, the dividend-paying stocks, and we could perhaps see a bit of a sell-off in the sectors of the market that have benefited the most recently. And that keep in mind, of course, lower interest rates are good for all kinds of stocks, including growth stocks and value stocks. But I think an upward sloping yield curve would favor the value stocks over the growth.
Recalibration, Joe. I don't think it is recalibration. This is big easy here. Yeah. Because in terms of what he was doing, he was trying to make sure that the stock market did not get disappointed with what he did.
Really?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Because he has played to the stock market from starting with his rookie year as chairman, going back to December of 2018 and saying he is going to increase interest rates several times in 2019. By Christmas, the market had cratered. January 4th of 2019, he said he is going to be very patient and actually cut rates several times. This is before COVID.
So you've got evidence, in your view, that you've seen him respond to what the stock market is doing.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth
instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.